Kelvin Klein Syndrome, Agoraphobia, Diogenes Syndrome. In this video, we're diving into the complex world of mental health, breaking down every mental illness in just 7 minutes. This video aims to educate, destigmatize, and foster a better understanding of the mental health issues that affect millions worldwide. Let's get started. Agoraphobia. Agoraphobia is an anxiety disorder that makes you afraid of certain situations or places. It's when you have a really strong fear of feeling trapped, helpless, or embarrassed in certain situations. You might be afraid of using public transportation, going into crowded places, standing in lines, or even being in enclosed spaces. Diogenes Syndrome. Diogenes Syndrome is all about the hoarding of random stuff like rubbish, and it's mostly seen in older people who have dementia. They also tend to be really neglectful of themselves, don't care about what others think, stay away from people, and don't feel any shame. Dissociative identity disorder. Dissociative identity disorder is when you have 2 or more different personalities that last a long time. It's like you have a different person inside you. You might have memory problems that are worse than normal forgetfulness. These different personalities take turns controlling your behavior. But the symptoms of DID can be different for each person. Ganser Syndrome. Ganser Syndrome is a really weird thing. It's a rare disorder where people give weird answers to questions like they don't know what they're saying. There are also other symptoms like forgetting stuff or having weird hallucinations. Sometimes people with this syndrome act like they're in a different place or time. It's also called nonsense syndrome or balderdash syndrome because of all the weird stuff that happens. Hypomania. Hypomania is a mental and emotional condition that causes people to feel really happy and excited, but it can also make them act in ways that are not normal for them. They might get really irritable, but that's not always as bad as being in full mania mode. PTSD. PTSD means post-traumatic stress disorder is a mental health condition that can happen after someone goes through a really scary or traumatic experience, like a car crash, war, sexual assault, or even just being in a dangerous situation. It can cause all sorts of weird thoughts and feelings like nightmares, feeling scared or upset when something reminds you of the event, and even feeling like you want to hurt yourself. People with PTSD might also have trouble thinking clearly or feeling things normally, and their bodies might react like they're in danger even when there's no real danger. Prolonged grief disorder. Prolonged grief is a mental health condition that happens after the death of someone close to you, like a family member or a friend. People with prolonged grief are really sad and feel lost, and it can lead to a lot of other problems, like depression, emotional pain, and trouble with relationships. They might have trouble accepting the death and might think about it a lot, or they might feel like they want to be with the person who died again. It's estimated that about 1 in 10 people who lose someone close have prolonged grief. Klein-Levin Syndrome. Klein-Levin Syndrome is a rare sleep disorder that causes people to have persistent episodes of hypersomnia, which is excessive sleepiness. During these episodes, people can also experience cognitive and behavioral changes, like disinhibition, not being able to control their actions, hypersexuality, increased sexual activity, hyperphagia, excessive eating, emotional lability, sudden mood changes, and derealization, feeling disconnected from reality. These episodes usually last more than a week and can recur for more than a decade. Narcolepsy. Narcolepsy is a really weird sleep disorder that can make you super sleepy during the day. If you have narcolepsy, it's hard to stay alert for long periods. You can just fall asleep out of nowhere. It can really mess up your daily routine. And sometimes it also causes sudden muscle weakness, which is called cataplexy. That can happen when you're feeling really emotional, like laughing hard. Narcolepsy is something you live with forever and there's no way to fix it. Exploding head syndrome. Exploding head syndrome, or EHS, is a weird thing that happens during sleep when you get auditory hallucinations. It's like you hear loud noises for a short time when you're falling asleep or waking up, and it can be pretty scary. It usually only happens occasionally and isn't a big deal. People might also see a flash of light, but there's usually no pain. Sleep terrors. Sleep terrors are times of screaming or crying, intense fear, and sometimes waving arms and legs when not fully awake. Also known as nightmares, sleep terrors can lead to sleepwalking. A sleep terror lasts a few seconds to a couple of minutes, but sometimes it can last longer. Sleep terrors happen to kids between the ages of 1 and 12, and they're less common in adults. Even though sleep terrors can scare those around the child, they're usually not a big deal. Most kids grow out of sleep terrors before they become teenagers. Restless leg syndrome. RLS is a condition where your legs just won't stop moving. It's like an itch that only stops when you move, and it's usually worse at night. You might feel like you need to get up and walk around to make it go away. It can be really annoying and disrupt your sleep. RLS can happen at any age, but it seems to get worse as you get older. It can also affect your ability to sleep and do normal things during the day. Sleepwalking. Sleepwalking, also known as somnambulism, involves getting up and walking around while in a state of sleep. More common in children than adults, sleepwalking is usually outgrown by the teen years. Isolated incidents of sleepwalking often don't signal any serious problems or require treatment. However, recurrent sleepwalking may suggest an underlying sleep disorder. Confusional arousal. Confusional arousal is when a sleeping person appears to wake up, but their behavior is unusual or strange. The individual may be disoriented, unresponsive, have slow speech, or confused thinking. Confusional arousals typically occur in the first 2 hours of falling asleep during a transition from deep sleep to a lighter stage of sleep. The episode may last only a few minutes or continue on for a longer period of time. There is usually little or no recall of the arousal or any event that may have occurred during the episode the next morning. Delirium. Delirium is a serious change in mental abilities. It results in confused thinking and a lack of awareness of someone's surroundings. The disorder usually comes on fast, within hours or a few days. Thanks for watching. Click that like and subscribe button. It will help our channel to grow. Let me know in the comments whatever you want and what topic you want me to cover. See you in the next one. Bye.